Welcome to another episode of the Dissection. No Hosh Kari today. Just Hosh Honey. Hosh Honey. Opposite of Hosh Kari. We're joined by a legend, Phenduka. He's the co-host, and you know this, I don't have to tell you, but I have to go through the paperwork. Co-host of the biggest podcast in Africa. He wears many hats. DJ, producer. You know, in comedy, we have Key and Peele, and they made some of the greatest skits after Dave Chappelle, not greater than Dave Chappelle's skits. In cartoons, we have Yui and Riley, greatest combo to do it. Then in podcasts, we have Mac G and Phenduka. You know what these guys have done. They've disrupted the media space in Africa. They've proven the market value of the YouTube economy in Africa. You know, and there's this saying, a rising wave lifts all. A rising tide lifts all boats. And these guys are the reason why that tide has created an economy for everybody. So, Season Pofu Walsh, those chat boys, whatever they call it, all of open chats, all of those genres of entertainment that currently exist on YouTube in a big way are because of Mac G and this man here. And he's one of my favorite podcasters because he never misses. You know, with the puns, with the questions. Man, I'm just so happy that you're here. You're a legend. And, you know, I think, what did I write down in my notes here? You know, one of the things about you that people don't know, you know, your name is Tandabantu. Tandubuntu, not Abantu. In my head, it's Abantu.
Ubuntu, yeah.
No,
I get that a lot. Great.
Tandanabantu.
Also, yeah, true.
So, Utandubuntu, Tandabantu.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy really does love people, man. In my head, that's what it was. So, Tandubuntu, Tandabantu. I'm giving you that. Because I think the first time I met you in the mall, I was still working on my strategy. I was like, am I going to say Noviolis? What is my And once I'm working out my game plan, I was like, that's the legend right there.
Oh, thank you.
What's my game plan?
Yeah.
For greeting? So,
was that when you saw me?
Yeah.
I thought I saw you first.
No, I was still working it out. Maybe you did see me.
Yeah,
first.
maybe, yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, okay, that's Saul. I've interacted with him on Twitter, but I know this nigga.
Yeah.
And you were like, Mighty Jamie.
Yeah, because I was like, hey, Mighty Jamie.
And I was like, man, what
I'm
a guy.
I'm a huge fan. I am. And well done, bro. 125,000 subscribers.
And you'll be so
500 videos, 520 videos, something like that.
How many videos it is? But
consistent, you know, it's like 517 or somewhere there.
Yeah.
I did check on my way. But yeah, well done, bro. Consistency. I'm a huge fan.
Thanks.
Huge dissector. I know Season both of us will see this and be like, this guy, I asked him to come. You know, and at the time, I'll go. It's just at the time, it was like, man, you know, it's the PhD guys, these guys, and Mighty Jamie, these guys are LLB holders, multiple degrees, super intelligent, smartest guys on YouTube in South Africa.
Man,
you know, so it was a bit intimidating, but I was like, then I realized I'm only shouting the guys out. And if I don't go on the podcast, it seems like there's an arrogance or something like that. But I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge
No, thanks, brother. Thanks.
You guys are amazing.
So I got some questions for you here.
Let's go, bro.
Let's go through
Let's go. Hosh Kari Behaviour has begun. Hosh Kari. Hosh Honey. When you're on this side, it's Hosh Honey.
Yes, when you're on the bad side, it's
Hosh Kari.
Yes. So let's start with just simple question.
Yeah.
What are you currently working on outside of the podcast? I know you're an entrepreneur. How can the public support Tandubuntu? How can we meet you where you're at?
All right, cool. Well, obviously there's the music side that I've been doing for a while. A lot of people think I do music because of it's the trend now, you know? There's a girl gets on stage in a G-string and DJs and she becomes a superstar, or you're on the radio, now you DJ. I've been doing music for a long time. One of my big passions. Music is very thankless, and that's why I've decided to do other stuff now.
Yeah.
Because you can invest so much. I've seen Proverb.
Yeah.
There's an interview. I don't know if you saw that clip. Interview he did with Lumonga, and you know, he got to a point at one stage, I think it was buying back his masters, spending 100K on the masters, and the school fees for the kids each is 100K.
Yeah.
And now after buying the masters, you want to upload this thing, and they're like, no, you gotta re-record it. And I was like, am I making enough from this thing?
Yeah.
You know, that I'm investing so much in it. And that's just the nature of of music, but when you love it, you do. But fortunately for me, it's been a bit kind, especially with the marriage of the music, the podcast, you're a familiar face.
Yeah.
So when you get booked, people want to see you.
Yeah, and they want to
But
vibe.
sometimes they want to vibe with you because of the work you do on the podcast, It's not just, so if it was just the music all on its own, it's very tough. People must think twice before going into that industry. So that's what I'm on. Like I said, a long history. I released my first album in 2013. With Sony and Native Rhythms on Sipho's Toilet. Shout out to him. So it's that. And then, I've got merch as well.
Yeah.
Solianos.
Who DJs who got merch? You don't bring me no Soliano.
Oh, yeah, bro. You know what? I'm going to come again. I'll please, when I bring you the merch, I don't know why we're not at the lab. Why we're not at the lab? We're here in the boardrooms, like we're so serious. We're in the boardrooms, yeah. I wanted to see the
I wanted to see my Tupac t-shirt, but we can chill out some.
Yeah. No, I'll give you. Please wear it in the lab.
I will.
Give the lab coats a bit of a rest. Yeah,
I'm gonna.
Yeah, so there's that.
Also, they want me to do Hosh Kari t-shirt, so I'll talk to you about how we.
Yes, okay, cool.
We'll do it together.
Definitely. No problem. Yeah, man. You merch. Yeah, that's Hosh Kari's. You've really taken it. Eh? You've taken it. You're fine, man. I don't think Casper knew when you were doing the
what Jay-Z,
Hosh Kari.
Jay-Z said. You made it a hot line. I made it a
hot song. Yeah. I don't even think he knew the value when he said that, Hosh Kari Mama.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. Soliano.co.za. That's where you're going to get my merch. I'm working on a very exciting product.
Yeah.
It's drinkable.
Okay.
So look out for that. We're currently in I'd say halfway till we're ready for the market. We'll start it out on Take a Lot on my website as well. Then we work it into the
looking
shelves.
forward to that.
So yeah, and some TV work / YouTube work.
Yeah.
If no channel bites, then we'll go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's at right now.
And YouTube has lots of opportunities, man.
And you've got more control. Like when you get cancelled, no one's gonna call a channel and say, "Hey, get his show off. We're not watching that show."
Hello, we're international.
Yeah, we saw his WhatsApp
network.
We saw his WhatsApp.
Or we saw what his guest said, or his
yes.
That was bizarre, man. The logic of saying someone else said something and you were on the same stage with them, therefore you need to lose your job.
Oh, that's higher now. Yeah. Yeah, but I think I knew it was going to happen at Kaya. When those guys took over, I knew it. Because we had an agreement with the guys who brought me to Kaya. And back then it was owned, I think, Gachiso Media.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, Gachiso Media. She knows a lot. This is Maida Jamie's producer.
Yes,
No, I won't say her name. I won't say her name. I won't compromise her. But she knows these things. Yeah, so when it got bought, was it Tebe or Gachiso? But yeah, when it got bought by these guys, old white people, United Station.
Yeah.
I knew that it's coming, because of the kind of work I do outside of the podcast.
And they also don't understand. But I think they don't understand the YouTube space. But also, it's just confusing because Charlemagne is such an asset to the Breakfast Club, and they're still radio, right? And then also doing the YouTube thing. So if you're working with Charlemagne, people can't say they don't understand the shock jock. They can't say they don't understand that genre of media and the crossovers there. So now you think Charlemagne was on CNN recently looking at the Mamdani election in New York. He was there with another YouTuber. But point being, CNN didn't say, bruh, you and Andrew Schultz have been wilding on the internet.
Yeah.
Now you can't come onto CNN. They were actually like, you and Andrew Schultz have the voice of the generation or the ear of a generation. So you're
very important.
Yeah, because it's different ears. Yes, you've got this other guy. Cesar has a legacy in the industry. He's got his own following, but you've got your own following. And that's what was making that morning show, I think, hot. And now, I will see what they do with it. But that was just a weird move, man.
Yeah, that's the beauty of America. It's a very mature game, If you're an American podcaster with the numbers that you have, you would see there'll be more interest just because the guys outside get it. The corporations outside get it. The broadcasters outside get it. In SA, not really. And it's a tiny game.
But you know what?
Super small.
It's good because in a sense, we get to create the future of the platform and what it means. And if we're thoughtful and we have vision and we are respectful of each other, we can make it a genre with a lot of value that others will start trying to jump on 10 years from now and be trying to negotiate. Remember, I'm going to quote Jay-Z again. At some point, he was like, you have to pay me for what you did to Cold Crush. And he was talking about the Cold Crush brothers. So he was like, top more bucks.
Yeah.
Because you messed up the Cold Crush in the 80s. You wouldn't give them the bucks. And now we're in a situation where we're running hip hop. So now you got to talk.
You got to pay. You got to pay.
You got to talk. So let's go second question. We got that. Now, your platform has covered multiple aspects, in terms of policing, major cases. You had, Advocate Defo coming in. So I've had people calling me, Jamie. Bro,
I gotta say, you got balls, man. Like, hey. Even, I always watch you and I'm like, look, we say a whole lot of stuff.
But no, wait. Before have you gotten those kind of calls? Because guys have people coming to mention everybody. No, because Defo was dropping a lot of names. He was saying like a lot.
Funny enough, no. Mac gets them more than me, but Mac also doesn't answer his phone. Like Mac is one of those people, if he doesn't have your number generally, or I've gotten those calls, actually. I've gotten those calls. And sometimes if it's a number that I know why they're calling, like I got a call from Tebogo Tebejan, for example.
Oh, okay.
Last week. And it was about, the
issues.
The whole thing,
Yeah.
The whole thing, you know what I mean?
So she's going to come to tell you guys her side?
No, she won't. She's not going to come. She was like, just the whole, this is not a joke, guys,
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, no, girl, but what we're saying is stuff that's out there.
Yes.
I'm not coming out and saying, do you know that Tebogo did this to Cat and nobody knows, you know what I mean?
It's the stuff in the public.
It's stuff, but you guys also, I think I've gotten those calls, but they weren't threatening.
Yeah.
They weren't of a threatening nature like the one you got. It's just guys on some, I'm disappointed, bro.
Yeah.
So Mac generally doesn't even answer. He knows that if we spoke about certain they're calling, he knows why they're calling.
Yeah.
He's been doing this longer than I.
Yeah.
And so we do get those kind of calls, but I've never had a super serious threatening call. See, the one you got, I've never. No one has called me and said, Van, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
We will fuck you up. We've heard of guys sponsoring campaigns.
Yeah.
Paying for advertising stuff on Moja Love.
Yeah.
Moja Love at some point had this whole thing. They would, when we did something wrong, they would release a press statement, or during a show, someone is cheating on something.
Yeah.
They'll be extracted. They say, podcast and chill is in trouble for this. And then we found out later that it was a Hosh Kari Don, a Hosh Kari father.
Hosh Kari Behaviour.
Yeah, it was a Hosh Kari father. We were like, oh, come on, because we spoke about one of his side chicks. You know what I mean? And it was a whole thing. So we've never had direct threats.
Right. But that's the cost of business. I don't know why. If you're indulging or participating in Hosh Kari behavior, you can't be thinking that the society is just not going to talk about you at some point.
It's because it has gone on for so long and no one was talking about it. It's gone on for so long. There was no social media.
Yeah.
The mainstream media, a lot of it, a lot of the guys we see now that journalists are bribable.
Yeah.
That they can take money. So then we ask ourselves, how much have we not been told throughout the years? Because the thievery, the Hosh Kari behavior hasn't just begun now.
Yeah, no.
It's been happening. It's and that's why we see infrastructure around us, going to ruin.
Yeah. It's
been happening. They've been stealing and now it's coming out. So I think before things would just, so now that we are here, you guys, make the connection, and then we win the line of fire, bro. And but fortunately with us, like we scratched the surface.
You guys don't scratch the surface.
We scratch the surface, man. You guys dissect and go deeper into the organs that
But you know what I was thinking?
Hosh Kari behavior.
You know what I was thinking about? At some point, there's this story of in the Bible. You got this generation that is stuck in the desert, right? For 40 years, they're not getting through everything.
Yes.
Then you've got the Joshua generation. The Joshua generation goes in to the promised land, right? And they are the ones who then can take charge of that. And when you hear sermons about this, they speak about how it's almost like a transition in thought. Because I was thinking what's happening now in South Africa, you've got the Hosh Kari generation. the Hoshua generation, if you will.
What
And then the Joshua generation, which is actually now saying, no, screw what you guys are doing. We actually are going to push back. We're going to point out where the issues lie, right? Because Babita was killed, right? For this hospital to continue being looted. It's not. I once went to Tambo Memorial, and that for me was a heartbreaking moment. My friend had a car accident. She was driving from a birthday party. They were Wits church girls. They were driving from a birthday party to me. And when they were coming from that party, there was a car accident. The taxi driver was moving too fast. And the way they told it is they started getting uncomfortable and he was drinking. And they wanted to tell him, slow down. But they were hesitating because I'm a taxi driver sometimes. But at some point, they got the courage and they were like, please slow down. Apparently, as they were saying that, the accident was happening. So I think 2 people died in that accident. She had a broken arm, broken ribs, didn't have medical aid. Closest hospital was Tambo Memorial.
Yeah, because so many broken bones.
Yeah.
Got to take it to Tambo.
So I went there. I have a question. Yeah. This is my question. I want to read it out because I was thinking, so I wanted to say, you're the only person who every episode comes with puns. There's the rapper Big Pun.
Yeah.
Passed away. And I think you're the big punisher. So yeah, that for me was a big moment where I saw Uti. Man, the condition in that hospital was horrible. She was there for months. I would visit her often.
It's bad.
And the first time I really saw how bad it was, I had to go to the loo. Because I was like, I've been here. Let me pass by the loo before I leave.
It's bad.
Bruh, the bathrooms were in horrible state.
It's bad, bro.
Nothing was working there. And the ward was a little bit good, but the rest of the facilities, disaster. That money had been stolen. So when I heard about what was happening at Tembisa Hospital, I wasn't shocked. Because I've seen this. But I think it's important for us to discuss these things and get it out there. Now, being a DJ who spends time in nightclubs, I don't know where else you guys are going. You're there with Boshebe shit, all of this stuff. What have you seen that you can tell us? Are these establishments being used for money laundering, for drugs? What's going on down in these facilities? And
bro, it's difficult to tell. You see, I'm in the industry, right? And we know drugs, huge part of the industry. For example, and I've been in the industry for a while. It's only once I saw somebody do drugs, and it was not even industry.
Yeah.
It was still within the music industry, but I was in a studio somewhere in the least likeliest of place where you see somebody consuming drugs. So you don't get there in these places say we're laundering money.
Yeah.
But you see certain things and you hear certain things. So sometimes there's a culture where you'll see bottles, like lots of bottles. And a guy will buy a Dom Perignon or whatever, and these things are like 4,000 rand.
Like 20.
A pop. Yeah, 20. And it's like, whoa, 80,000, bro, for, and then you share stories that, nah, man, this guy bought these things at Macro or whatever, and and then
Sparkles.
Sparkles, but on the books it says 80,000 rands, received from this guy, from that guy. And you notice that thing, man. Guys, let's be honest, bro. No matter, I know some guys get money in a Hosh Kari way.
Yeah.
They don't really work hard for it. They steal it and they blow it.
Yeah.
But even then, sometimes you gotta sit back and be like, come on, who's spending $500,000?
Yeah. On hands.
On hands, on one night. Do you know if you want to buy hands, how much $500,000 will get you?
I don't know, but
you have an idea. I don't know.
I've heard them say on the street.
Come on, if you really, 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 come on, man. No one's gonna go to the club. So at some point, you gotta think and realize that something is off.
Because there's a road here in Rosebank, which was famous. I don't know if it's still famous for, whatever. So it doesn't make sense that somebody would then spend all of that money for tables.
Yeah.
Bottles.
Oh, man. So I don't have it on good authority.
Yeah.
No one ever said, yo, we're cleaning money at this club.
Yeah.
But when you look around, it starts to make sense because there is a cash business.
Yeah.
Some people do get their spend on cash. There's no ways and the markups are insane as well.
Yeah,
the markups are insane. And may his soul rest in peace. You look at DJ Somebody. Yeah. It's always been like that with clubs. If you're going to run a club, it's one thing to run a normal restaurant, it closes at 9 or 10. But when you're going to run a club, then the guys who are selling drugs, it becomes somebody's turf, somebody's territory. So there's a whole lot of things that happen in that space. And me as a DJ, it's sad because, and also as a music maker, because already music is one of the most disrespected, arts or professions. And then you'll find the way we make money at gigs, it's also a playground for all sorts of things, there's girls who are selling bums, there's guys who are selling drugs, and sometimes the club is cleaning money.
Yeah.
It's a mess, but definitely those kind of things happen. So
and then
people must also not feel, and that's why I like, sorry man.
Yeah.
I love it when these things are getting exposed.
Yeah.
So people must never go to a club and feel pressure of, these guys, we can only afford these two Hennessy's or this Hennessy and this tequila, this Don Julio, and we've already spent 8,000 rand or 6,000 rands, depending on what club you're at. And these things are like literally 2,000 rands in that macro.
Yeah.
So guys must never feel that pressure, because sometimes you'll find the guy came in, he doesn't even have this kind of money. It's just for the book.
He's working. He's working with an employee.
Yes. Or sometimes it is their money. It's stolen money. So guys must never feel that pressure. But definitely, bro, these things happen. But we've seen the criminality in SA, It happens even with the banks when they were fixing the rand. It happens with the biggest of corporates. It's bad. I was watching, I'm doing it. Gangs of London. It's a series.
It's
called Gangs of London. I don't know now. Or
we'll find it.
It may be on Amazon now. Or I think Amazon.
I have Prime. I'll check.
Yeah, it's on Prime. It's Gangs of Showmax. Showmax.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's literally about the London corporate world and the cleaning of the money there. And then I saw a docu. It's actually real. London is like the biggest cleaning laundry machine in the world.
It's not just
one of the biggest.
The men there are not just the only criminals.
No, the guys are not. Even the guys in suits are.
Yeah, no.
So we see that, bro. So
they're the ones taking a lot of this cocaine. Because the cocaine behavior is not done by regular.
No. Regular guys can't even afford. If they do, for now they'll be on Yahoo suit. Because
people can have it.
You can't keep up, bro. So yeah, bro. Definitely, there's a whole lot of bad things.
Yeah. So here's another question
behind the veil.
We've spoken a little bit about this. We're going to move away. Kwanazi, you're going to look at this issue. You're going to get your Tupac on it, and then you're going to see what you do about what's going on there. But let's move on. So what's your creative process? Because you've spoken about the music a bit now, and there's going to be people, even I'm not talking about just for music, but also for the podcast, for your entrepreneurial ventures. What's your creative process? Because as young people, sometimes we're just thinking, I wonder how Soul does it.
That's a broad question.
It is.
Creative process. Okay.
So, for instance,
give me yours quickly so that I get what kind of answer you're looking for.
Sure. So sometimes something will be bothering me. Just bothering me. Like, why are these people there? Why are they homeless people there? And that becomes my research question, if you will.
Okay.
Then I try to get but that's for like a show, right? Then I try to get answers. I try to get, information. And then now I start trying to create my theory of the case. So okay, this is what I'm seeing. And then I try to see, can I falsify my theory? Are there other reasons, whatever, right?
Wow.
So that won't be a creative process for issue-based episode, right? But sometimes, because I'll just do interesting things on the creative side. So sometimes I'll be like, so for instance, one of the ideas I want to work on and do a film is I want to do this time traveler movie. And I'm working on a script on it. So the time traveler movie is based on this concept. There's a time traveler in the future. Elon Musk and the Musk family, whatever, have basically taken over Africa. Robots are now mining Africa. There was a mass event where a lot of Africans were killed, right, by these robots.
Bill Gates was very happy.
Maybe he was.
He's been trying to get
he's been trying to get. In fact, a lot of them don't want us on the continent. They want the space, but not.
They want the land and the space. They don't want the not us. I mean, look at South Africa, There's people who hate us here for being black, but they don't want to leave, and they've got all the money to leave and leave us in
because it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Right? So the idea is now something happened. Autocrats took over the world.
Okay.
And in that autocratic moment, somebody was like, "I've got the robots. I'm getting rid of Africa. Or Africans, what are you going to do?" So now we're in the future, right? Maybe it's 2090. So a time traveler is like, no, screw that. I'm unhappy with what you guys did. And I think it was unjust, even though now Africa is empty and you guys are mining it. Then he travels back in time
Okay.
to the DRC, to the moment just before Patrice Lumumba was assassinated.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he's trying to convince Patrice Lumumba not to give the speech which got him on the track or on the hit list of the Belgians, the CIA, and all of that. So that's one side of the movie. He's unsuccessful.
Well,
On the other side, he's being charged now for having tried to mess up the butterfly effect and all of that. Because the technology exists, but you're not supposed to go back in time to actually...
so they saw what he tried to do.
Yeah, but
it's not like he's the only one who's got access to this thing or knows about this.
So he's now going back in time saying, listen, the death of Lumumba was one of the big destruction moments for Africa. Because once the DRC fails, a lot of things fail. You see how there's still a war there. They're taking the Pope out.
Bro.
So his idea is if I fix DRC, Africa will fix itself. If Lumumba lives, maybe Sankara doesn't die. And then you end up with a different projection for Africa. So he's on trial on this end.
Wow.
So it's a time travel, future science. But that just came to me one day. I was like, you know what? That could be a good time travel.
Yeah. I'm definitely working on it.
So that's,
wow, bro. You're
some of my process. So when you were doing like Dikabang or some of this stuff, how did you get to, or the first album? Or...
bro, I don't have a methodology.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's very difficult to ask a fish, how do you swim?
Yeah.
Or like when you swim, or asking a human, how do you breathe? You know, especially when it's a part of you, you know?
Let's say with a song.
With a song.
Where do you get the first beat? Where you're like, you know what?
Drums. I start my songs with drums, bro.
Yeah.
I always start my songs with drums.
Yeah.
I feel like the drums give you the music.
Yeah.
You know?
But do you have a melody in your head?
Rare. Nah, that's rare.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you've got a melody in your head, right? And okay, and you lay it down. And there, sometimes you won't start with the drums. You'll start with the keys, for example. You know, if you got a bass line, you might start with the drums and put the bass line on.
Yeah.
Problem with that is the drums might give you a different bass line. That's why I said normally I start with the drums.
Yeah.
And music is such a magical thing to create because when you don't start with an idea in your head, what you are working on, say drums, for example, so there's the kick, do some percussions, do a hi-hat, and already the drum tells you what more to add in terms of drums. And then you'll start hearing for me, I then start hearing a bass line. Yeah. So what I like to do is, especially if maybe I've got a creative block a bit, I'll let it play, let the drum play. Yeah. Do something else. You know, sometimes I'll chill with a couch in my studio, chill on the couch. You know, when I still used to be like my studio used to be in my home. Yeah. In the bedroom, you'll do whatever around the house. And it's like when I'm listening to normal songs, like a song that's out there. Yeah. Ever since I was a kid, actually, you'll sort of make a remix in your head. Yeah. Because you're like, oh man, you should have added this sound on top of this song. Right? So now that's how I treat the drum or the song as I make it. A song that I'm enjoying listening to. Because you got to be in it. Because sometimes when you sit there and you're like, okay, now the strings, now the bass. Yeah. Now this, it feels very contrived and forced. So I let it run naturally. So I'll do that. And sometimes it's crazy. You'll sit for an hour playing the same thing and nothing comes. Yeah. You leave it. Do whatever. Yeah. Get distracted. Do whatever. And there's a day you'll come back, open the same project up, and it all just comes. Oh. You know? So for me, I work on the music and I hear what the music tells me. It's guys who make music will tell you. Like it's like a guy there who paints. And he'll be like, now just start with a few strokes and then I'll start seeing something, you know, from the strokes that I've done. So that's how musically I normally do my process. I remember with an old song, Uhuru. Yeah. A friend of mine had given me a sample. Yeah. It was African Children's Choir. Yeah. I think they're from Malawi, but one of the Swahili speaking countries, many of them. And I played that thing, and that song was done within 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, one of iconic songs. I mean, guys like Momo and Gabs are still making. Recently, they've been doing these songs with a similar kind of beats.
Yeah.
You know? Not copying me, to similar style. Inspired, yeah. And that song took 2 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes the song will take you 6 months. You know? Literally. Especially because I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So it's that process. You know, sometimes everything just is done and it flows and you're done within an hour or two. But normally I get the music, like literally from the music. It's like, man, music is such a, it's not a thing that's in the air and you got to tap into the frequency.
And who are your influences, do you think, on this journey?
Many, bro. Music. Oh, many, bro. I'll start with the dance scene.
Yeah.
Black Coffee.
Yeah.
Because I like my sound. It's very, it changes a bit when I collaborate with people.
Yeah.
But my sound is it's very African.
Yeah.
Very emotive, you know, music is meant to be emotional. For sure. Man. If it's not giving you any kind of feeling, I even stop. I don't even complete the song sometimes. And that happens a lot. So Black Coffee, huge, because he's the guy who, so I come from a hip hop background.
Yeah. And a reggae background, apparently.
And a?
Reggae.
Reggae?
Yeah, I saw something on Wikipedia that you were in a reggae group. Reggae. They say you...
Reggae?
So you're saying the Wikipedia is wrong?
The Wikipedia. But you know Wikipedia is edited. You could have edited that. Reggae?
You don't have a reggae.
Reggae, rockaton, nah.
Rockaton.
No, reggae, nah. Give me that rhythm. No, man, don't be in a reggae group.
That's why they said I had to check and see.
Reggae? No, man. No.
Okay.
No, not reggae, man. Reggae.
Let's stay with that.
Reggae, oh, wow. Not reggae.
Okay.
No, I've never been in a reggae group. There was a time though, where Lucky Dube influenced. I love Lucky Dube, by the way.
He's a legend.
There was a time where, so what I do is I go through periods where I really obsess over a particular artist. You know, I've had a Josh Groban era. I've had a Lucky Dube era. I've had a Dino Puente era. Like Louis Vega era for the longest time. So these are some of the artists that influenced me, because I listen to so much music, bro, not just what I make.
Yeah.
You know, I don't just listen to amapiano or house music.
Yeah.
So those are some influences. There's so many influences, bro. So many. But those are
some of the highlights.
Big, some of the highlights. Yeah.
So you spoke about your music creative process.
Yeah.
Podcast creative process.
Oh, man.
How do you approach the game?
Same thing, bro. Like I said,
You don't just go to the studio, so like just say, what are the topics?
No. Partly we do, partly we don't.
Yeah.
So what we do is, Mac's got his own life. I've got my own life. Everybody in the studio does.
Yeah.
Studio has their own life. Ghost Lady has her own life. And everybody goes into their own pockets of life.
Yeah.
And normally what I see, because I'm such a curious person, right? Sometimes I miss so much content because I don't think it's content.
Yeah.
But so normally when I come across something that interests me, I just jot it down, you know?
So had you watched that show, for example, that what's the name of that show? The one with the married people, or the ones who are getting married?
Married at First Sight. I never watched that show.
So you were coming to it fresh.
Yeah. So you see, like I've got a notes.
I see.
A notes. Podcast story. Yeah. It changes every week. And it's when I come across a tweet or something, or sometimes it's a reel or it's an article. Yeah. And then I'll just put it in there. Yeah. So I'm like, I need to go read up on this and do some research on this, you know? But not to speak about the tweets. Yeah. You know, get some meat.
You use it as a prompt to them.
As a prompt, yeah, exactly. So whenever I come across something interesting, I put it in the notes thing, and then we shoot on Wednesdays for Thursdays, for the Thursday show, and then we shoot on Saturday, unless somebody's got an emergency or something to attend. We'll shoot on Friday for the Monday show, which tends to be a problem because in SA, some things happen. Like the Kwanazi thing was on a Sunday, and we missed it, you know, like,
it was a big moment,
and people like, you missed this thing and stuff. You know, because editing, you
Yeah.
know how much
Yeah, yeah.
goes into it. You know? So you guys, that's why you guys, I think even the growth of your podcast series, it's because of the daily uploading. And I know that if Nkabinde was giving testimony at the head of committee today, I know Mary Jamie's got the.
But that's sometimes hard, man, to pull off.
I don't know how you guys do it, bro.
So that Sunday, when something was,
man.
there was a family event, people were actually negotiating lobola for one of my relatives. I was in the room taking notes there. Keeping track of, or what was the, I figure late. Exactly. So now, when the press conference started, I was still in the room. And I saw like a notification. I'm like, yo, things are going on. Country. And I'm really here, like taking. But as soon as it finished, I rushed because I was like, okay, let me go, bro. Let me record to get it now out as quickly as.
Because the rest of us are like, I know I'm busy now. Jamie, I'll watch Jamie. I
have to do some hacks. You know, there's some hacks that I do to try to.
I don't know how you guys do it, man.
Bro, like sometimes.
And then those ideas come out the whole day.
No, the ad hocs are harder, yeah? So sometimes I really struggle. Like, there's an episode I promised everybody that I'm going to summarize what Kwanazi said. Not Kwanazi I'm also going to do, but what General Kumalo said. But he spoke for 4 days, right? And it's voluminous, that content. But I want to do it justice because I think his testimony was the most evidence-laced.
Oh, yes. When Karen Moon and them were saying...
Where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence?
The evidence has arrived.
It's here now.
So, and I think we're all going to forget some of the key details because of the process is continuing. You know, it's like critical moves or have been made on the board. And the chess game is continuing, but those 4 moves could have been the game. That could have so I want to refocus and never forget what the guy said. But last week I said, I'll have it done by Friday. I thought I'd have it done by Friday. I was like, I'm going to have it done. Bro, I'm now trying to keep following everything that's happening and then redo the summary so that they're higher quality than the first take one.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes long. So I'm having to sometimes wake up at 4 to do stuff before the day gets going so that I have like a buffer. Like even now, this Judas dubious Mkwanazi guy, I want to summarize.
AMPD guy, the cowboy from
everything that's been said about him, right? I want to summarize. But there's almost 6 days now of people talking about this one guy. Almost 4 witnesses talking about this one guy. So to tell his story with due diligence becomes hard, but we do what we can, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't know how you guys do it, bro.
It's not easy.
So so that becomes then a problem with us and a challenge.
Yeah.
So then I'll do this and then I'll do all my reading.
Yeah.
And when I've got all these things, Mac has his own thing.
Yeah.
You know, he's a curious mind as well, extremely.
Yeah.
And he's got his own things he wants to talk about on the show. And on the other hand, Ututu then sends us prep.
Yeah.
Right? And Ututu's our producer, and Tumi is also our producer. And it's got all these things, some trending stuff, some not trending stuff. And sometimes we'll get there, and Mac looks at the prep, I look at the prep, I get familiar with it, so does Ghost Lady. She'll do most of like the gossipy kind of stories. And we might do, maybe there's 10 stories. Maybe there's 8, maybe there's 9, maybe there's 12. We might do 3 stories from there.
Yeah.
Because within that conversation, we don't plan the conversation. We walk in there and Mac starts the show, intros, and we'll start talking about stuff. And sometimes we don't even start on the stuff that's on the prep. Mac just goes off. And when he goes off, I sometimes will find a way of weaving what I've come across with what he's saying, you know? Because we'll go off on a tangent. And so sometimes like, oh yeah, this ties into this. This is the perfect time to segue into what I had. And when I'm doing it, so it's a dance. When you do, you co-host a show with somebody, and Matt will know that, oh, so probably has more information on what he's talking about. Oh, I see. We are now going into a different subject, and we go. And then not everything we'll talk about is what I've had on my notes or what Mac had on his notes. Sometimes it'll spark a conversation on being raised by a single mom, for example, you know, and let's say we were talking about, I don't know, the Hosh Kari mamas. And then we look at some of the challenges they face. Then that conversation becomes there's a personal anecdote I have with being raised by my mom. Mac was maybe raised by his mom. And then it becomes a different conversation altogether, you know?
So you just on that.
We don't plan everything.
On that, you know, I was thinking, should I ask you about that journey? Because we have limited time, and maybe when you come back, you think about something.
Yeah, when I come back with the merch.
Yeah, with the merch. So this single mom upbringing.
Yeah.
Do you think, so firstly, I don't know, did you ever have other male figures close to you guys when you were growing up in Folsom?
Nah, not super close, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, I had my uncles. Literally, I got closer to my uncles after my mom's passing.
Yeah.
I knew them. I was fine with them, but it's not somebody I could go and tell us about my day or my challenges or, you know, nah.
So
not really. Nah, not really.
How did you navigate those teenage years? Because I'm sometimes dealing with teenagers, man, and they're going through a lot, and some of them are. You know, there's a lot of absent fathers and
yeah.
So I was just wondering, man, like it's a conversation that I thought we could have, but it's so deep. I didn't want to just do it like in an intro thing, but food for thought as well is just like, do you think that the lack of male figures in that period of your life was damaging, or your mom covered the gaps? Did she have to now play both roles? Because sometimes ladies don't know how to they don't know how to discipline a truant young man. Because some young boys don't listen to their moms, especially when they become teenagers.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, man, I was never that young boy.
Yeah.
Never listened to his mom. First, my mom was strict.
Yeah.
We had a very interesting relationship, but I think most kids with good parents we're almost like friends.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, like I said, my mom bought me my first computer.
Yeah.
I told her though that I wanted to do schoolwork on it.
Yeah.
But she realized soon that I actually wanted her to make music.
Yeah.
And I wanted to load up Fruity Loops. And start making music, start recording.
Yeah.
But guess what? Before then, she paid for my first demo.
Yeah.
To record my first song ever recorded. She paid for it.
Yeah.
Right? She bought me spray cans to have graffiti on our wall, our fence at home.
Seriously?
I had graffiti, like hip-hop graffiti. Because I was a very artistic kid. I used to draw.
So you went
very
for graffiti?
Yeah.
So what's your work?
My rap name was Savage. I had the whole thing there.
Yeah.
Sprayed at night. Yeah, and people were like, whoa. Everybody was like, whoa. And then when my friends would come over, or like guys to record.
Yeah.
It's not even friends. Sometimes I've got a studio now, come. 200 rands to record. You know? At 500 for the beats, you know, which is a lot in the high school. So they would be like, whoa, bro, you did this? Like, my mom was cool with this, you know? My pants sagging, my mom was cool with it. She literally funded all of that.
Yeah.
So with that kind of relationship, and I don't know whether for her it was maybe saying, at least got a passion.
Yeah.
Also, because I've got an older brother. And
so that maybe made a difference.
Yeah, I think it might have. I can't get into my mom's head, but I think it may have. Because his life didn't turn out as mine is not perfect, but it's far from my life. You know, far. It's a totally different situation. So maybe going, okay, I can be strict, but also I'm glad he's got passions. I'm glad he's got hobbies.
Yeah.
And they're getting him off the streets and they're making him read more. And also I was that kind of rapper as well. And, you know, I love reading. And so I had that kind of a relationship with my mom. She was super strict. I was scared of her as fuck.
Yeah.
But also I could speak to her and ask things from her. She supported me. She did a really great job, man. I don't want to lie. And I was never a problematic child.
Yeah.
But I think if I was, she would have disciplined me. I don't know whether that would have brought out a rebellious side of me or not. But I think I was blessed and she was blessed because I was really not a bad child.
Oh, so
at all.
I was that phase where you're like, so Michis are this whole neighborhood.
I lost my virginity in second year, man.
Varsity.
Second year of varsity, and I finished matric in 19 because I'd gone, when I went from a township school in grade 1 or R or something, I had a very stop and go starting off my academic life.
Yeah.
And so by the age of 7, I was in grade 1.
Yeah.
So that's what made me finish at 19.
Yeah.
So literally, didn't bother. Of course, you tried to lose your virginity, you know? Remember one time bringing the girl over, I thought I was going to lose it then.
So that was the day.
Greg was in the house. I was in matric. I was in grade 11 because my mom passed away when I was in grade 11 in Feb.
Okay. Sorry, man.
So early grade 11, and I don't know what I was doing, but it never happened.
Yeah.
Because I also had a bit of a kwababa.
Yeah.
Right? So never tried smoking, never tried drinking, never tried a lot of stuff that high school kids would try.
Yeah.
And also I've always been somebody who is very comfortable in their own skin, comfortable with not having friends.
Yeah.
And I think because, like I said, my brother and I, so he grew up in the Eastern Cape a lot.
Yeah.
In his early years, my mom then brought him when my mom found her footing in Jersey. He was like 7, 8, 9, 10. But as soon as he dropped out of school, he left and went back to the Eastern Cape. And he's 50 this year. So there's quite a gap between me and him. So, and I was like 5, 6 when he left.
Okay.
So I've always been the only child in the house.
The environment.
So I've always been fine with being on my own. So that's how I avoided peer pressure of trying to find a group to mingle with. If there's no group that looks like it's suitable for me, if there was, you'd find me there. But I've never ever been in a group, for example, in school. Even though my friends, have always just been. So I've through being okay, being an island, I've avoided a lot of trouble.
Drama.
A lot of drama. So I was an easy child to raise, bro.
All right. Okay. So you guys, I cut your process discussion, but come in and you throw the idea.
Yeah, that's it.
And then
that's it, bro. It's very organic. It's very organic. We don't plan things. A lot of people, people would say initially when I started, because there was Len Moleko before I joined the podcast.
Yeah.
And when I started, and Len was good with the puns as well. It was something he does. Yeah. But me, it's been a thing I've always done. Yeah. Even in my personal life. Yeah. I'm glad I had an outlet on the podcast because, my woman will get bored of it. My friends, not bored, but it's like, So people will be like, is that planned? It's not. It's just how my mind just works, especially coming from a hip hop background where you're always seeking for a nice wordplay.
I got you.
A punchline. So it's partly that and just, that is not planned.
Yeah.
So that's what we do, bro. That's literally, we don't plan much.
I have a question before we move on from this.
Yeah.
You guys have big teams now and you've got a whole ecosystem. But one of the things that you've kept the band together, in a sense, how do you guys manage that? Because there's a lot of personalities, it's a lot of people, and sometimes these podcasts and these bands, these groups, that's always where things fall apart, right? Where it's like, some point someone's like, no, it's your podcast. Or it's his podcast or whatever. How do you guys navigate all of that?
Egos, bro. First, I think Mac and I can talk about anything.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of like big fallouts or problems.
Yeah.
Firstly, because everybody in the room, not just Mac and I, everyone.
Yeah.
Respects and loves the work.
Yeah.
Right? Respects. Black Studios have been with us for forever. They were there before I even joined, under a different name.
Yeah.
For me, it's that respecting the craft.
Yeah.
Because what that ensures is that you come prepared. It's not about me. It's not about Mac. It's about our audience. It's about the chillers.
Yeah.
And Mac has been famous since he was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't care much for fame, man. I don't worship fame. I don't want fame. There was a time when I didn't have fame.
Yeah.
That was a peaceful time. I actually
people weren't harassing you anymore.
No one was. Exactly. So there's no superstars. There's no superstars. Mac, humble as ever. Mac is Mac, bro.
Yeah.
I'm me. There's no egos. So you may, and I've been told this. Mac has been told this. Ghost there, I'm sure has been told this. Whenever you go to, you make that thing, bro.
Yeah.
You do, But as a practitioner of this craft, I know very well the power and Mac's ability and what he brings to the table as much as what I do and much as what Ghost Lady does. So the noise never gets into any one of our heads. This is what we do. So that's how you avoid all the egos. And
respect that about you guys.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Someone
can say this ingredient makes the dish, but a good cook knows that it's all of them. That's why you got to put all of them in.
Oh, bro. Even when they say it's a pinch of salt, that pinch, changes everything.
You can't just now boil salt and say, no, eat this twice. You got
Yeah.
I've isolated the greatness.
Yes. This is where it's at. Yeah. It's a mixture.
Yeah.
And then everything else, bro, I think we've just been blessed.
Yeah.
We truly, bro, like everybody there is just so chill.
And you respect your community. I think you guys, you respect your chillers. You understand how to set boundaries, but ultimately people feel like they're at home with you guys. You know, I've met chillers across the country. Just in random spaces, sometimes people tell me, Phenduka shouted you out on the, I'm like, wow, man. And the way they respond to you guys, I think it's because you've really gave them a space where they can hang out.
That's it, bro. It's not about us, man. It's not about us, bro. It's we do it for the chillers. I remember recently with a thing where we're saying what's coming up on the show before the show started.
Yeah.
It was Max's idea. I'd seen it somewhere and it looked amazing, sounded good. It made a lot of sense, but people didn't like it.
Yeah.
We did it for a long time because also sometimes people don't know what they want till you do it. And do it consistently enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the people are saying, Cheney, stop singing.
We can't stop singing. We need to hold your nose.
So eventually we're like, okay, it's really not working now. And we stop because we do everything for them.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, bro, with the team, it being together, we're so blessed, bro. You walk, no one there is a superstar. No one there has a problem. No one there has a toxic. And with that, it's just being blessed.
Yeah.
You can't always choose the right people. Like, and everybody who's come across the journey who had a bit of a problem, be it the attitude, be it growing a big head, somehow, they find their way out. But generally, everybody, bro, on the show, like, it's
about it.
It's about it. So level-headed, bro. Fucking, like, sorry for the language, man. You've never sworn.
Well, it's good that you did it later because
and only twice. I picked it up twice.
It's usually a problem at the beginning of the video that the algorithm doesn't like.
Oh, no, that's cool. Everybody there is, oh man, a dream to work with, bro.
Sounds good.
And that's just blessing, man. And I think that's how we know, like, we're blessed, It's like, hey, yo, bro, best team, we're family, like, straight up. Like, you feel it on the road when we're together, when we do our show. There's no one there with an ulterior motive. No one is coming there thinking they are the superstar. So that helps, but generally it's the respect and the love for what we're there to do.
So you've been in media for a long time. From YFM to Kaya FM to Big Brother. So I'm going to ask you, 5FM as well. I'm going to ask you some media type of questions.
Okay, cool.
Speed round almost.
Let's go.
What's your view on the radio space now in South Africa, but also globally? Take it as big as you want to take it.
Radio is going to be around for forever because it's instant, it's immediate. It doesn't need a network.
Yeah.
When I get on and I want to listen to the dissection, I need to have network. I need to have data. And sometimes the network is bad, so radio will always be there. However, people have options and alternatives.
Yeah.
And you look at something like the dissection.
Yeah.
And you're always free to speak your mind because there aren't brands that are there to say, but you can't say this, you can't say that. And sometimes there's only one way of saying things. It reminds me of the guy who was giving testimony at the Makanga Commission, where he said,
this is what an officer is it Nkosi?
Bulls.
Yes.
Yeah, when he said the garden of bulls.
I can't remember.
One of them. Like, the garden of bulls. Then, and sometimes you got to say things like that.
That was one of the funniest moments.
Yeah. And so, look, YouTube and podcast, when these things need to be said the way they need to be said, you are at liberty to express yourself how you see fit.
Man, that moment, you're taking me back because the advocate, Lee Seagull, as soon as he said, no, he didn't have balls or whatever he said, she's like, she looked at the commission, she's like, I spoke to this guy, I let him know. She wanted to guys, I'm a professional. You know me.
Yeah, I was never along this thing. Yeah.
I prepared this with us. He was swearing way more in the back.
Yeah.
I should have seen him before.
Yeah.
She literally wanted it to be clear, like, I know this habit.
Yeah.
I've tried to work through it with him. I told him, must speak. Please, Ntate, must sing ahead.
Yeah.
And I think the commissioners were so gracious because they're like, no, we all understood what he meant.
Yeah. And also, this guy is a cop. You know, and you want your cop. He's a cop. That's what he's good at. That's what he's good at.
He reminded me of like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Almost like he's just honest.
That's it. And you need the honesty. Because if you could have a cop that's sly, that knows how to, tutor and shy, and then what else is he doing with the tutoring and shiring?
Those talents, sometimes if you're too deceitful, and manipulative, then you're not catching crooks. You are a crook.
You become the crook because then you see gaps and you're like, man,
we can do it like this. But
you see the girls, you see the horse, you see beer,
and I love that guy. He was one of the best.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a future for radio.
There is a future for radio. And obviously creativity then comes in hand. I was listening yesterday on the radio and they were like, which musician would you love to hug? And I was like, what? I was like, whoa, man. I was like, nah. You can't then compete with the guys on YouTube and everybody else when, the creativity is not there. Because already radio limits who can be on radio. Because you got to be the guy who knows how to say stuff without, putting them just like the way you really want to. You got to be good with the words. You got to be... So already it cuts out so many people who could add value on radio.
Yeah.
And if those people really want an outlet, then they look to YouTube and podcasting and everywhere else. So there is a future for radio. There'll always be a future for radio.
But what do you
but alternative
current
media
state? So that's one.
Oh, it's in shambles, man. Now it's in shambles, bro. It's in shambles. And I know people are like, but you also got hired because you're on the podcast. But I do broadcasting and I bring real value to a radio show.
And you are from radio.
And I am from radio. But when you look around, it's the whole hiring of people because of the followers they have and and their celebrity status and they pretty. No one sees you on the radio. We don't care that you're pretty. No one will listen to you because you're pretty. And I'm with my kids. I'm driving. I want to know something in the morning. I want information. In the afternoon, I want something relaxed, but still a bit informative or something that will add value in my life. So we're missing a lot of that these days because they're hiring slay queens and all these kind of people.
All right.
And
okay.
Yeah, bro.
Fine.
It's in shambles, but it'll always be there.
Yeah.
As much as sometimes it gets wasted. The opportunity of being on air is wasted on people who are not deserving, but so it's all fortunate. It's always going to be there. Now, hopefully it's going to correct itself with the competition, especially in South Africa, where there's still a huge reliance on mainstream media by brands and corporates, which is also good because the more they come this side, the more now you need to answer to your clients.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I used to be a big listener of radio, man. But now not so much. And I think at some point there was that Twitter Spaces, right? I thought that would be the genre that really does a mortal blow to radio. And I remember Anele was talking about how no, radio will always be there, and she's a pro radio person.
Yeah, definitely.
But now when I look at what YouTube is even becoming more, I'm realizing now that the real challenger for radio is not podcast in the MP3 format, because I don't think that ever took off in Africa. It took off in the States because everyone had an iPhone. They were doing all of this running and working out. So the podcast genre on RSS feeds did well in America. But now what I'm seeing is people are building communities and finding their niche topics on YouTube more and more, because now if you're not in a car, right? There used to be a time when people would go to, DSTV and go to the radio thing and try to listen that way.
Man.
But now people don't do that. And if you're not in a car, less and less people are listening to radio. But I think part of it as well is that not only the gatekeeping and the influencer chasing, but sometimes I'm listening on radio and I'm like, why is this guest on radio? And sometimes that gatekeeping, it takes me to not gatekeeping, but almost the media slants. You know, because sometimes I'm like listening to stuff and I'm thinking, but why not you're only talking to this side? And your radio, you're supposed to be having both of these guys on air. You're supposed to be having both of the sides. You know, something has happened across media space. I don't know what you think, because I'm going to ask you about mainstream now, is that sometimes I'm listening to something, they'll say, we've got this Stuart James Shannick, for example, using yesterday's example.
Yeah.
And then they don't get the cops to be on the same platform as him.
But the cops have already had their moment. They had all the presser.
But that's after he spoke, right? What I'm saying is, Guti, you get a guy saying he's clean. He's got no record. That kind of a guy, because of the nature of his argument, I need to have Atlanta Mate on the same show as him. Not Guti Bakurme back to back. That's not even how I would do it. I'm saying, okay, we're going to bring you on, bro. We're going to do 30 minutes with you guys. But just be aware, Atlanta is going to be there, spokesperson for SAPS. I'm going to ask her a question. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask her a question.
Great.
You guys can shout at each other on the show. We don't care. But what we want the public to know is both versions. But now you can have Atlanta coming in a different segment to that guy, like the next day, or maybe not even coming at all. And I think that's even what created the moment where the cops were like, bruh, this guy's lying to the public. We need to have a press conference and counter his narrative. But when I was thinking about how was the show produced, I'm like, why are you giving 30 minutes airtime to a guy with, even if it's in one case, 18 convictions? Why are you giving him so much airtime by himself? Because there's clearly another side to the story.
Okay, but now, I remember your reaction when that came out, and I disagreed with you because you were like, the guys, they're giving this guy airtime, like they're legitimizing him.
But by himself also.
But remember, he was mentioned and he wanted now to respond.
But
he's been thrusted in the commission. Oh yeah, definitely. He needs to go to the commission.
Yeah.
True. But now he felt like, yo, I need a right of reply. And I don't blame the mainstream media, or even if you had him or Caesar had it.
Yeah.
I don't, because number one, everybody
wouldn't have the if Shannon kills Jamie, I want to give a right of reply to Kubana. I'll be like, whoa, bro, you want to know my address?
let's meet somewhere.
Zoom. An interview.
No, he wants to zoom in on your life. So he said, I know where he stays. But
yeah,
I felt like he wanted a right of reply, maybe not on the same platform, but that's okay. For me, it's not like, they're on his side. Everybody deserves, especially if your name gets mentioned and you get implicated and things that you purport to be false about you get mentioned. Your liberty to seek any avenue to express
all of them in one day. This guy's being given right of reply on 3 different platforms in one day.
They all want numbers though. Think, bro, if that guy said, look, I want to come on the podcast, yo, we're not trying to get Shannick or no. If Shannick wants to come in the podcast, gladly, he'll give us the numbers.
But then little Atlanta at the same time. But listen, what I wanted to say about that moment, right? Firstly, he's not the first guy mentioned, right? So if somebody comes to us as a mainstream media platform, let's say it's what is it? I want to do one maybe that's called DNA at some point, right? So if you want to come on to DNA, you have been mentioned in a commission, right? That's newsworthy, and we covered the commission. But so many people have been mentioned. Why do you get to be at the top of the list in terms of right of reply, right? In the first instance, right? And if you are giving right of reply, for balance, we have to put somebody else there. Because you could come and use our platform to lie. Because this guy spoke under oath about you and he adduced evidence. You come in by yourself now without being under oath. So you could use our platform to negate a testimony given under oath with hardcore evidence from the man with the finger thingy, the General Kumalo.
I get that, Jamie, but do you as a broadcaster who also looks at the numbers, it's part of your business.
Yeah.
Do you then say, no, we're not having you because we can't get somebody to come on? Because even if they tried, I don't think he had a problem with arguing. That guy is well spoken.
No, he's
Shannick. Hey, Shannick is, and he knows the law. And he knows the law.
He's so long. Okay, so many laws in those now. Good to know.
Well, hey, my suggestion is if you will break the law, you better know the law. You know what I mean?
And be smooth with it.
Yeah, he knows the law.
He knows carrying an AK-47 debating the cops.
Yeah. And schooling them at that.
If I leave this gun, that's worse. I know you've got a problem with the gun.
And you got to have your guns on your persons at all times. And that's the law. And he knows the law. He really does. I'm not saying, I don't know. You know, I mean, the evidence is there. But I feel like that is okay, man.
But don't you think there's an issue with the model? Because I don't have a problem per se with them saying this is newsworthy.
Because remember, the cops have said their part.
No, but
he's carrying. He may lie, but as the audience, we're not down, bro.
No, of course.
We know, even on the podcast, where people who come in, they lie. But we're not Deborah Petter kind of style interview. We're not gonna.
But
we're not telling them hot talk. We're not gonna or Bongani Pinga and attack the guy. Yeah. We'll be like, oh, I'll ask a question on Poco, and if he lies, I'll be like, I asked that people are not dumb enough. They know. So even with Shonik, when he goes around, we can discern and go.
But you know what?
I don't know, man. I'm not buying it.
My concern is that there's an audience that has that, right? Those critical thinking faculties, they're very sharp. They pick up on the inconsistencies, and they also have been following the story. But sometimes the people haven't been following the story, and the news platform says, "Now, on you trust Newsroom Africa." The journalist maybe doesn't push back because the hope is that if there's no one countering his narrative. Which is why I'm saying if you're not going to, and I don't honestly think that sometimes the journalists are best equipped to do that. Because now you've got a journalist here who's maybe been following the story, right? But maybe doesn't have an LLB. Maybe hasn't worked in a criminal law environment or anything to that effect. Now you're dealing with this guy who understands elements of the Criminal Procedure Act, elements of all of these things. So now it's a mismatch. So you're interviewing him by himself. You don't even know the problems with what he said. And some of the interviewers are not being aggressive enough, or they're not researching enough about those particular pieces of legislation and court judgments to be able to say, no, but the Firearms Control Act says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all of that.
I told him he ran circles around him because, when he was bringing up, the Firearm Controls Act and all these things, because he probably didn't prepare to that extent, or he's not well
maybe
versed.
He doesn't have a firearm. So, for instance, Sizwe, when the Malema judgment came out, Sizwe was schooling people on the implications of a guilty finding in that respect.
Yeah.
Now he's the guy who is supposed to check paperwork, is going to cancel some things. He was trying to help people understand, this is what it means. They're not going to be able to own a gun anymore. So now you've got another dude here who's got 18 cases in one case and others, right? So now he's having a conversation about this technical issue without somebody technical there. And I don't like the format where, so what I'm saying is if someone hasn't been following, they can easily get misled by that because one, it's on the news platform. Two, they haven't been following. Three, they're listening to the smooth talker. He's probably the smoothest of all of the voices that have tried to.
Oh yeah, from Sabia's camp. We'll call it a camp.
Yeah.
They don't consider themselves to be in a camp, but we can see they one side. We're together, in the place.
Yes, in a place of some nature. Together.
Unit, He has been by far the most coherent and knows he is good. I was like, hey, this guy, man, I wonder
he's good at the training,
schooling his head, or how much reading does this guy do? And still has time to go to the gym and bulletproof his car, and still be in business and sell cars. And I was like,
he's a gym nerd.
Bro, he's so fascinating. But I think the problem with that, Jamie, is the culture of trying to be first. So, of course, Kumalo gets there, exposes this guy.
Yeah.
And we hear about it, whoa, Shonik, oh, damn, he was in Parliament with Spear. And then if he picks up the phone and calls either EWN, Newsroom Africa, or whatever, ENCA, they will be quick to jump and not consider everything you've said and all the due diligence because they want to be the first to break the story, And
that's always a challenge.
That's always a challenge, even in print media. You'll find somebody tweeting saying this, and it's like, dog, bro, that's not true. Get all the facts first. But everybody wants to be, we are leading with the story. All right. We broke the story. So I think everybody just wanted to, the numbers. Literally, Spear spoke today, this guy, Yeah, but so that then gets in the way of going, hold on, why don't we get somebody who's well versed with this? Because our journalist, has got some shortcomings. Why don't we get the police or get this or get that? But I believe even the bad side, if they want to come onto camera and say stuff, we've noticed that they implicate themselves more and, get themselves.
You guys, you and Maggie are dangerous because you will be giggling with these people. And she's like, oh, when you don't do that. Don't go. It's just that guy. You guys, your guest interviews, I've always said they're very dangerous because you in the moment, I think, because you guys make people so comfortable.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is going so well.
Yeah.
And the two of you are picking up with, no, brother, it's not going so well.
It's not going well for you, bro. Like, what are you saying?
It's going well for the podcasting. But not for you.
A lot of that is Mac. Mac is really good. He's like the best interviewer. I couldn't say that in the country by far. He's good, bro. Like, I don't know how he does it. He's good, bro. Like, just like making people comfortable and seeing where they at and meeting them there, but still being able to allow the guests to talk about whatever they want, but while still controlling. It's like a ship, where it's going.
Yeah.
He's good. He's very good at that with that. And that gave us a bad reputation of we expose guys. And we're like, we don't. We give guys a good,
they expose them
comfortable, environment where they are speaking freely, and that's what you want. Right?
And they come on because they want to access your audience. And then they don't sometimes realize, Guti, they're actually doing themselves a disservice. But look, one of the things I want to say, we're going to move on, is I felt you guys have done a better job of handling tough topics than sometimes the media has. Because if you remember that human trafficking allegation story, you got 5 people. Was it 5?
It was like a panel.
You got 5 people with varying views.
Yes.
As well as the people implicated. And that, to me, felt like more serious journalism than what I'm seeing in mainstream.
And the weakest person on the panel was actually a journalist.
Look, I don't want to attack anybody, but I did feel like
it was the Times Live journalist.
Yeah.
The weakest contributor.
You guys were asking, what did your research say?
Because you're a journalist, and you. Oh man!
Because we were like, imagine in news site. What have you guys determined as the newspaper who's covering this? And it wasn't, but I don't want to attack anybody. Maybe she didn't have enough time.
She didn't, because a lot of people, because of the podcast, were pulling out, and she possibly didn't. But with the time she could have had a better contribution.
But because we were expecting her.
It was little, but she could have had a better.
You're supposed to be, as the reporter, establishing the facts, using the resources of your institution.
Yeah.
Also, that's going to help your institution to attract more people.
Even your career.
Yeah, even your career. Look, I mean, I think
the right people
it was a learning moment. I don't want to be too...
learning moment.
Right. Let's move on from that chat. Amapiano and Licompo. Is it called Licompo?
Licompo,
yeah. What are your views on the longevity of these genres?
I don't know with Licompo, bro, to be honest. But I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know about its longevity. I don't know it that well. I'm not familiar with it like that.
Yeah.
It is a sound originating from Limpopo. Hugely still a Limpopo sound.
Yeah.
Like at some point, Com was a KZN, Eastern Cape sound, and then filtrated throughout South Africa, spread. So it's at that stage right now, very early stage. If they are welcoming of people of other languages, jumping on it and not gatekeeping it, it does have a possibility of growing. And as it grows, just like piano did, it morphs and it evolves and it becomes more mature. It has different sides, piano as well. It started off with just instrumentals, and then there were these chants, and abantu babathi inkamba, you know what I mean? Because but these were party chants, obviously. And then from there, it grew and became mature due to welcoming different elements and sounds into this thing that's moving. Now you've got private school, you've got a very spiritual side, you've got skidongo, you've got skija, you've got so many, some come and go. You've got Japino.
Yeah.
Guys that come up with their own genres
Yeah.
or sub-genres,
Yeah.
and that's how it grows. And so piano will always be here due to it's given room to grow.
Do you feel that that's what people always say about the trending genre? Because there was a time when people were saying Kwaito will always be here and Goa will always be here.
Isn't Kwaito like it's not it's we don't have a Kwaito superstar.
Yeah.
But if you listen to Reese Matlisa,
Yeah.
Zuma, male vocalists within Amapiano,
Yeah.
a lot of them are Kwaito guys.
But the Kwaito.
Like Zola, sorry man, like Zola, you heard him when he was on Kwaito. He was a rapper, a hip hop guy. Booga Two Shoes was a rapper on Kwaito beats.
Yeah.
But now you're calling it Kwaito. Mapaputo was rapping.
Yeah.
But on Kwaito beats. It wasn't the typical do Mashamplan kind of quantified traditional Kwaito. It was guys who were coming from hip hop, looking up to Tupac, and then now on Kwaito beats. So Kwaito is still there, or its traces are still there, especially in Amapiano.
Yeah.
Its influences, yes, are still there in Amapiano.
Because even your vest got through on some Kwaito remix type of things. You remember Dr. Beleza and stuff like that? We could say that was a...
Nah, I wouldn't say that was a Kwaito.
No.
The subject matter was Dr. Beleza.
Yeah.
It was more of influenced by, at the time, that Shabba Ranks.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that, but you do get Malum Cool Cats. There's still a lot of Kwaito, so you're right. Maybe there will be a time in Amapiano's dead, but there'll be traces of it still. But it's going to be around for a while, man. It's going to be around for a while. Like any genre, it, peaks and then it plateaus for a while, and it might decline a bit and then find a plateau at a lower level. But it'll always be there.
Why do you think that happens in the South African music space, but not necessarily with hip hop? Because hip hop is 50 years now, right? 50 plus. 51, I think, this year, right? So, I mean, it has had waves of sounds, artists, gangster rap and all of that. The 80s sound was different from the 90s sound, trap and all of that. But still, everything was still being called hip hop, if that makes any sense. Whereas in that same time period, we've had different genres dominating the South African scene in that same period where you have this one monolithic one in America. Why do you think we have that issue? It's not maybe also just with Amapiano South Africa, because I think even Afro beats may have that same moment.
Yeah, they definitely are having it.
So I don't know. What do you think? It's just there isn't enough, I guess, gatekeeping or some kind of, I don't know, elite group managing the status of the thing. What do you think causes that?
I think if there is a bit of gatekeeping in Amapiano, but that's not. It's not the cause, man. I just feel like with hip hop, it's international and it's got a bigger market, and that market always wants to, be fed their hip hop.
Yeah. In
South Africa, it's a way smaller market for whatever genre is popping at the moment, and within that same market. You're sharing the market. Like, it's difficult. You're sharing it with hip hop. You're sharing it with all these other genres, local hip hop, overseas hip hop. And it becomes easier to feed, and it takes a longer period to feed the international market because some people just listen to hip hop.
So let me pause you and ask you about dancehall, which has been around for, I think, maybe 25 to 30 years now.
And it's a global market.
But it's coming from a small country like Jamaica with a small market internally, but has lasted as a genre.
I wouldn't say small market internally. I'd say major market internally.
Jamaica's a small population.
Prime market.
I was checking population in Jamaica.
But it's the dominant force in Jamaica.
Kwaito was the dominant force. Outside of gospel, which obviously is its own dominant force, it hasn't fallen off. Right? So we could say
over 2.8 million.
let's say 3 million. So that's tiny compared to
tiny.
I think the audience for Amapiano would be much bigger than that whole Jamaican.
Yeah, that's true.
But the Jamaican music, the dancehall stayed on in terms of longevity versus and they have some of the same challenges we have and some very rough neighborhoods where some of the good stuff is coming from. But it's still there as a genre. Why are we going through these?
Very difficult. I don't know. Maybe it could be because in Jamaica, a lot of, as much as the dance hall is the party and our group dance hall, reggae, they're related as one, but reggae has always been a vehicle of speaking.
Yes.
You know, against the injustices of the day, you know, against the corruption, the politics. It's always been a vehicle of sending, of messaging, you know, social consciousness.
Yeah.
So maybe there's that element that's missing within piano, because I'm trying to think. Name me one piano song that talks about the Hosh Kari behavior in South Africa. Quite a lot.
Maskandi speaks more about social issues than
Oh yeah. Abafunu zuma bungse. Remember?
Yeah, there's always something.
There's always something.
Yeah.
They speak, and we don't.
So you think that could be affecting the?
And that's why and that's why it's important. I try on the podcast to mention, you know, not too heavy on it, but stuff that's just happening around us.
Yeah.
And if we conscientize young people through our platforms and sometimes through music, it's just that a lot of people are afraid as well, you know, of not being booked at that ANC rally or that EFF rally.
I see.
Or their bread being cut because of you bump into these guys at the club where you're booked at.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe it's that, but that could be the reason as well, especially in SA. But then again, I was going to say in gospel they don't, but in gospel
it's about God.
It's about God and a void, an internal, you know, spiritual void or healing that you lean towards gospel to find.
Yeah, I think that issue on social commentary could be, that comment is an interesting one, because one of the reasons I like Park even over BIG is because, and as much as BIG has this flow that is
lyricism,
like the flow, lyricism, like the storytelling,
punchlines, and
it's great.
Cadence is amazing.
Yes, all of those things are true.
Yeah,
but when I have to weigh them, I'm like, Park was one more authentic. Like, because you know, even I think Dr. Dre and there's this you should look for it on Disney. I don't know if you have Disney.
I do.
Okay, so there's a documentary.
So multiple streams, man.
That's good. That's good. Documentary on Disney called Dear Mama. It's about Park. I don't know if you've seen it. But Dr. Dre there talks about how whenever they were recording with Park, he would want to finish the song in that session. And he'd want to give it to them raw based on how he was intensely feeling the subject matter.
In the moment.
He didn't want to go back and do multiple versions of the song and rework on the lines.
Technical.
Not in that sense, but bringing his soul and spirit through that moment, right? So I love that authenticity about it, right? Because when he's saying, you know, I don't like these guys from that crew, very real. I think him and King Von give me that same energy, right? To be like, although King Von's content is a little bit, I have conflict about listening to his content. But with Park, what I really liked even more than that authenticity, because I don't like all of his catalog, but I love that he had this social commentary. Brenda's Got a Baby, you know,
bro.
Baby Don't Cry, Changes, you know, he is even Do for Love. There's a bunch of songs I can list which have
so many
a political undertone where you can really tell that this guy was raised by, you know, members of the Black Panther movement. You can tell that, you know, the Shakurs as a family have been involved in social justice. But I think what that does is it creates a layer of depth in his music that cannot be reached by BIG, right? And even though I like more of BIG's catalog, it's not in the same level of depth and authenticity.
No one can argue that, bro.
And I think that's maybe what's lacking from a lot of the local music, is that they aren't, for the reasons you said, people willing to make that social commentary song that then everyone is like, that song changed how I looked at politics, changed how I look at these men, changed how I look at this. And if you think about Bob Marley, you think about a lot of the big artists. Fela is another one.
Nicola Pocuti.
Yes. There were moments where you're like, this song here, that's about that president in particular. Screw that guy. I'm with you. What do you want us to do? And I think that's missing. And maybe that's why the genres don't then have, I don't know, it's just we're thinking out loud.
Yeah, partly. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, piano's heading there because there's messaging. I mean, spirituality in pianos is incredible, man. You know, when you listen to Kabza Kusela, for example, it's a prayer, man.
No, it is a prayer.
Nanatula.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, you know.
That's some prayers there.
Yeah, it's like prayers. So it's getting
because there's a lot of people who haven't been going to church, so now they're using the piano.
Oh, bro, that play a church song at 2:00 in the morning at Grove. There's nobody who worships God like a drunk person, overcome by the Spirit. I don't know whether the Spirit is 43% of bottles.
They're trying to compete with horse dons now.
That's what they call Amapogela spirits, you know? Yeah. So people are so there's a yearning for that. And the more I say the youth gets conscientized to what's happening around them and around us, the more then there's also going to be a yearning for that social commentary in the music, and it'll be received. So I also feel like the audience is also getting to a point where they are ripe to receive that kind of message in the music.
But you know what? I'm hoping that there's longevity for Amapiano, because it's been great to witness, the growth and everything. So let's hope that this genre, this time around, all of the elements come together.
And similar to the Jamaicans, if we can grow the audience outside of our borders, but also we're doing that at the moment. But what we're also doing is we're not keeping ourselves as the authority of it, because it's getting produced now everywhere. The Nigerians tried a bit to claim it. That their Mapianos was.
I didn't like the way they approached it. I thought there was nothing wrong with them doing it.
No, nothing wrong with them doing it.
But the way they approached it, like some of those early guys were now trying to claim it and repossess it. And I thought, what are you doing? It's not your sound. It's different if you come with respect to the sound, as opposed to trying to hijack the sound like Shanik or something.
I didn't see that one coming.
You see?
Yeah,
but influenced by Soul Phenduka.
Nah, that's just Jamie, man. That's Jimmy. And if you look at Lucky Dube, is a perfect example. He's an icon even in Jamaica. So why? Because he's this guy all the way at the bottom of Africa who loves this thing. Approached it and showed reference to the genre and the people who formed it, the originators, and respected the craft as he was doing it, And and he's loved. He's not even. I mean, I heard he wasn't even like a weed guy, or he just loved the music. Yeah, he was not like Rastafari. He just really loved the music and treated it with respect. So if we can achieve that with Amapiano, it's just the problem is there's a lot of money and muscle that comes into play here. And then the sound internationally gets lost because of the guys with the deep pockets who are able to penetrate parts that we can't, that Kabza can't, but they can, and they say, this is Amapiano. And they're not getting the proper version of it, and it becomes sort of lost out there. So if we can grow this thing and still keep, not to be the only ones exclusively making it, but people need to know this is Amapiano.
This is the blue magic.
Yeah, this is the blueprint. This is the blue magic.
No, the blue magic. This blueprint and the blue magic.
And the blue magic. Yeah,
All right.
Then we can go far.
So let me ask you two questions. You'll see how you tackle them.
Yeah.
Leaning on the Amapiano conversation, the Afrobeats conversation. There was a time when it looked like everyone was working together well in terms of in the music scene, AKA Burna Boy, all of these guys. I was excited by that moment from a Pan-African perspective because I was like, this is big for Africa. If these guys continue this direction. And I was also looking at the London scene, not because the Americans, they don't like Africa so much, but the UK guys, the Mendem, they're proud of their African roots.
Oh, a lot of them.
Stormzy, you look at, what's this other guy's name? The one that the ladies like. Skepta.
Oh, yes.
You look at Stormzy, you look at Skepta, what they were doing, connecting Wizkid and Drake and all of that stuff, right? I was like, if you think about having Dave, I mean, I'm just using current guys. You have Dave, you have rappers from South Africa, you have Afrobeats guys from, Nigeria. What that could have done for an African sound would have been spectacular. But it now looks like the Amapiano and Afrobeats community don't cross over enough. And in fact, it just looks like now we're relying on the girls to do all of this lifting. But even there's tension because there's the Tyler camp and there's what's the hot body Arya Star camp. And sometimes there's a lot of tension there, even though they look like they're on good terms, but it doesn't look like there's enough crossover for us to build a truly big moment for African sound. I don't know. You are a music practitioner, so I don't know if you've been looking at this and thinking about it.
I haven't. I mean, there was a moment where Pori was doing, and then shout out to Pori, man. I don't think he...
Even that moment, by the way.
Flowers
what's the name of that song? Particular.
Mm-hmm.
When I...
Yes.
First person...
Pato Ranking, yeah?
Yeah. No, not Pato Ranking. I like it.
Nolan Particular.
Yes, it was Pori and...
What's there?
Nasty was in it. There was Jidena.
Who's this producer, man?
It's those UK guys.
Is it UK?
The Snakes or something like that. Major Lazer.
Was it Snakes? Major Lazer.
So for me, that was one of the biggest moments in African music. Because I was like, this combo taken further. I was very excited when that happened. Because I was like, I can see the promised land. Where I can see now, instead of, Drake or Kendrick or whoever dominating even American sound, they're going to be playing African music across. But then it looks like it never, that was probably one of the highest moments.
Don't know what happened, bro. Honestly, don't know. I mean, because, look, I think a lot of South African artists, I don't want to say they don't have access, man, to because there's social media now, you can have, but it's only Kabza, Pori, who else, has sort of tried that thing. And I don't know why it didn't work. I don't know whether it's how maybe, I don't know. Cause also I wanted to say it's the reputation South Africa has as xenophobes. And I say reputation. Don't know, bro, because every time you hear Nasty C going to Nigeria, AKA, they're always well received.
And there was a moment. I mean, there's always
bro.
There's always been this side conversation about the xenophobic stuff, but I don't think that was happening in the music. And I thought that was actually...
Oh, but Burna now has got a certain way he feels about South Africa.
Well, I mean, but that's one guy, right? I'm just talking about now. Take away...
Because Davido came to Scorpio the Kings.
Yeah, he did. And there's still, I think, some synergy that's happening. I'm just now thinking about, if you think about the moment of Particular, right? Was that 2012 when that song came out? Just you'll check and you'll tell us. If you think about that moment and everything that was happening, for me, when I was looking at that moment, I was like, bruh, African music.
It was 2017.
Particular? Okay, fine. 2017. I thought it was earlier. Maybe there's something else I'm thinking about. When was the Burna Boy, aka Collab? That was earlier, right?
Yeah, that was
Anyway, the point I'm making is that if you look at those moments, what I was thinking is that now we're really going to have an African renaissance. Because once the musicians bring people together, everything else takes care of itself. You know what I mean? Because music is such a unifying force. But it looks like, in as much as there are these issues that you are raising, which are correct, reputations, beefs, and everything, that it doesn't look like Amapiano and Afrobeats, not necessarily that they have to become one thing, but that those crossover moments then take the sound global. I just think there's so much money to be made from the global, and these Europeans, these Americans, man, they love something new, something different. They're happy to try new genres, subgenres. Black music basically is their whole digest. They just remix it and then they take over some of it. But what has happened?
I don't know, bro. Do you see a world though where Africa remains the way it is on the ground, the realities of Africans, you know, mainly poverty, there's haves and have-nots. Do you see a world where musically, because I feel like all those frustrations play away, like the ground is not fertile for collaboration that thrives. I feel like if we can fix music aside, everything, sports, everything aside, if we fix Africa as a continent, those kind of collaborations and that kind of global takeover will happen more naturally. I feel like it's the frustrations of the ground, man, somehow that seep into blocking, you know, even just traveling. A lot of South Africans don't even travel outside of South Africa. And a lot of other African countries, people, the situation on the ground has forced people to travel. So I don't know, man, if music, has there been a time though, also, where we had that as Africans? You know, it's sad that it's not there, but I feel like the other basic things that once fixed, we will see a natural flow and inter-border workings and connectedness, not just in the music industry. So I don't know why that has stopped with music, but I feel like there's also other ailing problems that can be fixed, and naturally we'll see that just happen.
I partly buy that argument, but not entirely, because when I think about hip hop, for one, it was always coming out of the dingiest conditions, right? Harlem, what's this, Compton and all of that. And these people were still able to create synergies and work even internationally, you know. Think about early 80s hip hop. They were going to the UK and doing collabs there, right? So I'm not entirely persuaded that it's just, even if you think about the Jamaicans, you see some Jamaicans, like for instance, Crocodile Teeth, right? You got Skilly Bangs doing something with Nicki Minaj, able coming out of rough backgrounds, still able to do an international collab like that. Nicki Minaj, Egyptian, for instance. These are just crossovers examples I'm giving you that people will be able to think through. So what I'm thinking about in Africa is that, for instance, people at your level, right? You shouldn't have a difficulty doing something with a Kenyan, right? For instance.
Oh, not at all.
But now I'm just thinking, and you know, I'm giving you an answer to the question you pose. I think if we fix some of the thinking and the community building in Africa, we may be able to then fix some of the bigger problems. Because, and I think music plays a role in that, right? And my whole thing is, there's a scripture, you know, and I think it's relevant. It says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge," or / lack of.
Yeah, you love that quote.
I do, because one of the things I think that we're on a mission to do is then to correct that vision, that understanding. And then if people can have, if, you know, there's a line, if you know better, you do better. Right? So if we now know better as Africans, we will do better. And I sometimes think that the music space is one of those places where there can be a correction at a faster pace in terms of thinking around our relationships as Africans, thinking around money as Africans, thinking about relationships as Africans, right? Because some of the people who are behaving in particular ways, they're doing things that they heard about a rapper or a certain musician saying, no, singing better ganja, or singing, no, or, you know, think about J. Cole. What is that song about his first time or whatever? So for some people, that's how they're interacting with it, right? It's for instance, my cousin loves Hennessy. Whenever we have Hennessy, I'm with him. The Tupac line always comes into my head, because he's like, "And sipping Hennessy made all of my enemies envy me." Every time I take a sip of Hennessy, I hear the Pac line in the back of my head. That's the power of music, right? Sometimes I'll hear a Bob Marley line. Sometimes I'll think about other musicians and the moments. So I agree that there's on the ground technical stuff that needs to be fixed. But
because fixing that also fixes what you're saying, the thinking, and the broadening of the mind.
But I think musicians have a faster way of fixing an African mindset, more disruptively than a politician, than anybody else. Because if it in a song and it lands right, think about the Bob Marley song where he was quoting the Ethiopian. Haile Selassie did a speech at the AU or the UN.
And then Bob Marley, just look for that song there. Because it's until the philosophy that renders one man inferior and another superior, right, is totally and permanently abolished, then everywhere is war. That's the name of the song, right? And that's the line from the song. It wasn't his song or his lyrics. It was the speech that was made by Haile Selassie at the AU or the UN, right? And then that became the song. And yeah.
So Bob Marley's song, the title of the song was War.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's based on a speech by Emperor Haile Selassie that he gave at the United Nations in 1962.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
And that I knew the song before I knew the speech.
Oh yeah. A lot of, especially, even in hip hop, a lot of, you're like, oh, that's a thing. That somebody had said, there's a lot of that.
So that's why I think the musicians have such a big role. And I'm almost sad that we haven't seen this moment where Amapiano Afrobeats does take over the world and becomes bigger than hip hop. At some point I made a video like on TikTok or whatever. I said, I think in 50 years, this genre can be bigger than hip hop. We were like, bigger than hip hop? Never. But I was seeing something that I guess the streets were not seeing in the same way. And it hasn't materialized. So maybe I was wrong. Right. Let's move on because we got to wrap it up. I don't want to hold you on forever. You won't come back. Let me ask you now. Who's richer? Sizwe Lomo or Cyril Ramaphosa?
Oh, come on, man.
Sizwe.
Eh?
Sizwe.
No. On part to a Sizwe. Oh, Richard. You know, on part to a Sizwe. Hey, man, how much was it in those couches?
But
at his ranch? At his place? At his
But I heard that the Minister of Finance was asking Sizwe Lomo for a loan. They were like, can South Africa just win a loan from...
Yeah, you can talk to them. You can have a word with them. But nah, man, I have to say Cyril, bro.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, Cyril's been getting it.
I'm just playing. Right. Song of the year, do you have a contender?
There's a song.
Yeah.
That's doing well now. Sheila is definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, votes are decoupled for Summer Song of the Year.
Is it still a contender for this?
Yeah. Well, the summers, they have a whole thing where they do it after a year.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm like, guys, why would you do that when the songs from last year, we've forgotten about all the songs.
It's a beautiful song.
On them. So if you're interested, Record of the Year for Summers, my song is nominated.
Those lyrics, they come after the beats made by you.
Yes. The lyrics is the last thing. Like, generally, with the song particularly, it's to me, Caterpillar, Smasher say on the beat. Then you give Gamupaba, and he writes to it. And then you make minor adjustments. It's like post-editing where then you're like, oh, okay. He's saying this, you want to highlight it, let's strip the beat down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then you work on the beat. But the lyrics are inspired by the beat.
Yeah.
Or
because it's like
music.
the way it all gels together. And that's one of the big issues, man. The divisions in the families are hectic. And if we could solve those things. But so let's hope it vote for it. You were saying you've got another song that you wanted to mention.
Yeah.
As a
it's a remix, but it's doing so much better than the original. It's Do Therapy remix of Maline Ora. I hope I'm saying her name properly. It's called Mabebuza. Amazing.
What about Ngeng?
Whose song was that?
There's that song. What does it say?
Yo.
Who's up there?
Whose song? Is that Maskandi?
That is. Yeah. What's the name of the artist? Because he's been doing
Ukozi is always like left with their thing, you know.
But this song,
Uma
Figizola, but that song. No, that's his name.
Of the artist is Uma Figizola.
Yeah, but like, how do you call yourself Uma Figizola? Imagine you calling myself Ukabza. Ukabza. Uma Porisa.
But
there's already a Mafizola. Come on. Yes, we know Mafizola is a term we use for a newcomer. But it's now a brand because there's an artist. So you can't just put but it's Maskandi, dog.
But you got saying so.
Hey, my show was fun time, bro. So those guys,
but that guy, he's been doing a lot, even on TikTok, because he's quite good with the guitar.
I need to check that out.
He does like little gimmicks on TikTok. That's why I started seeing him. But the song, People seem to love that song.
You see, like this now. I'm
That's
gonna
different from
put
like,
it on my notes and talk about it
yeah,
on the podcast.
that's different from the other songs, right?
I've heard of him. I've never heard of the song.
That song is quite popular.
Yeah.
No. It's out there.
For real.
No, it's out there.
I don't spend more time on TikTok, man. I don't spend enough time.
Let me tell you, TikTok is a dangerous place to be. So if you're going to be on TikTok, you have to have a strategy. Otherwise, it'll waste your time.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
what I'm afraid of.
If you are in a queue, well, you can be on TikTok.
Aha.
If you're stuck somewhere and you've got the 10 minutes,
Aha.
do not go on TikTok when you have something to do.
Yeah, man. Because people stay on TikTok.
That algorithm is...
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
It will take your minutes. You never get them back. You will never get them back.
Bruh.
Be careful with TikTok. Anyway, let's last question I have for you.
Cool.
Right. People are saying they want us to, or me rather, to record a Hosh Kari album. And I always joke with them. I'll take you so Phenduka.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. I'm like,
Here now.
I'm not this guy.
Can we give the people what they want? They want the Hosh Kari and the album. I said,
We need to start with a Hosh Kari song. We need to start with a Hosh Kari song first and see how it goes, man. I mean, I've heard you sing, JB, but
people say they want the album. Do some more. People have an issue with my voice. Me, I can come up with the lyrics.
yeah.
We can auto-tune the voice. They don't know that. We can do so much in post.
Yeah.
That's gonna think that I'm the best vocalist.
Let's start with a song, man. An album is such a big commitment.
No, of course.
Let's see if the market is there, you know?
Oh, for the one track.
Yeah.
So, guys, you have to vote. Which one is your favorite Hosh Kari song so that we work on getting that to you sometime.
Yeah. I'm open to it, man.
All right, thanks, Sol. Thanks for coming through, man.
Oh, man. Enjoyed it. I'm a big fan.
I have a prayer for you, man. Short prayer.
Yes.
I want God to bless you. I want God to bless everything that you're working on, my brother.
Appreciate it, bro.
In perpetuity, may you guys continue to have a big impact on Africa, on all the men and women who are watching your show. And may you have the blessing of God, guys, to grow and multiply.
Amen. And thank you so much, bro.
Amen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
brother.
Thank you. You too, man. Guys, subscribe. Like and subscribe. Some of you are watching, haven't subscribed, man.
That's Hosh Kari.
Subscribe. Yeah, that can't be, man. We're looking at the views. We're seeing the subscriptions. Nah, let's subscribe, man.
So shout out.
100 and by end of the year, 130.
At the end of the year, we have to hit 150.
150 doable. Let's go.
And then we saw lose or Phenduka.
So boy, respect back.